Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you haven't been here before. In this tutorial, we're going to make my favorite V-split tumbler that I have ever made. The vinyl, the rub-on transfers, everything is just so bright and colorful and beautiful, and I absolutely love how this come together. We're going to start out with a 32 ounce prepped plump from the Steel Magnolia. I love these prepped ones. They're hard to get sometimes, so I do grab them any chance I can get because it eliminates having to go outside, spray paint my tumbler white, wait on the paint to dry, and hope that I get nice and even coverage because white can be difficult sometimes. All of the above. Love the prepped tumblers. So we are going to use our glitter glue from ARTISTRY Epoxy. I'm running a little low, so I did have to pour it out of the bottle. And I'm going to use a makeup brush to brush that on really nice and even. And then we're going in with Alter Ego, which is a gorgeous opal from PDB Creative Studio. And just dump it all over this cup and get nice and even coverage. Once we are finished adding on our glitter, we're going to knock off that excess and then roll the tumbler in a piece of notebook paper, printer paper, parchment paper, whatever works best for you. Just roll it up and pat that glitter down so that you can minimize the amount of epoxy and sanding you have to do to get this tumbler smooth. We are going to put rub-on transfers on here as well as a clear vinyl, so we want to make sure we're putting that on a glossy and not sanded surface. I gave this about 2 hours to dry, sealed it with Rust-Oleum matte clear coat. Even though it is one single color glitter, it does help prevent your glitter moving around and helps you get better coverage with your epoxy. After the sealer dried, I gave this 2 coats of epoxy, sanding in between layers so it is smooth for our decals and vinyl. I grabbed my little 4x6 album. That is where I put all of my decals and all of the little extras that I have from my rub-on transfers and vinyl sheets. You can also use a big 12x12 album, which is what I use to store my full-size vinyl sheets. And just grab a little Ziploc bag or some sort of storage bag. You can put your extras in there and drop them down in the album with your full sheets as well. I just like having the small one because I know that that has my little scraps and my decals in there, so I can easily go straight to it and find just a few little things if I don't want to do a full tumbler. The vinyl that we're using is from Slide Hustle. They do offer this in clear and on white. This is the clear, and it is perfect to put over an opal or white glitter. To get our perfect triangle for our V-split, you're going to first get your vinyl nice and clean by trimming off any of those borders if it has it. Measure your vinyl where it overlaps, put you a little mark on there and cut off that excess. Then you also want to make a mark at the bottom of your tumbler so you can cut off anything that will hang over the bottom. Once you have all of the excess cut off and it appears as a full wrap, then you will fold it in half, only creating a crease at the bottom part, and then trim from either side of the top to your crease at the bottom. When I create a V-split, I like for it to be even on both sides, so the exposed area be the exact same size as my vinyl. I know lots of people like to try to get at least 2 triangles out of each 12x12 sheet of vinyl, so they don't end up with all the small scraps that I did and get 2 full tumblers out of it. However, the spot with the vinyl is much smaller on the tumbler, and I just don't like doing it that way. I can still get 2 3-inch keychains out of my scraps that I cut off, in addition to a couple pin wraps as well. So you just have to be creative. You can even use those scraps to do another split tumbler, but put the vinyl towards the bottom or the top of your tumbler and the remaining part glitters. Tons of possibilities with those scraps, so don't throw them away. Make sure you keep them, and you can do small projects with them as well. Once you have your triangle, line it up on your tumbler to make sure that it does fit perfectly. Cut off a little bit of that backing so that once you have it lined up, you can press that exposed piece down, work your way around the tumbler. Since this is close to the edge, I am going to take my heat gun, heat up that bottom, and press that vinyl down. This will get it to lay perfectly flat, and you won't have any lumps or bumps at the bottom of your vinyl. I took these butterflies out earlier of my little album, but didn't tell you where they come from. This is from one of my latest bundles with Southern Belle glitter. These are rub-on transfers, and they come with some beautiful florals as well. There's a total of 4 sheets in each pack. You get 2 sheets of rainbow butterflies. One is more pastel, where the other one is more your primary colors, and then 2 sheets of florals. I am just going to measure this out, and I used my craft knife to trim off the excess so it will fit perfectly in the section I want it to go. You can't overlap these on your vinyl because it will not come off of your vinyl once it's down. So make sure you do trim them before you apply if you are doing a design like this. The butterflies matched the Slide Hustle vinyl perfectly, and I'm just going to go over this whole section and cover it up with these transfers. Once I have all of my butterflies added on, I'm going to add on my stripes. I am using a sheet of vinyl from the pink sample pack from TECKWRAPCRAFT, and although it is incredibly beautiful, it's also basically a mirror right under my face, and I didn't realize that. So enjoy me making all of my focused faces and double chin at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh man, I could not stop laughing when I started seeing my reflection in this vinyl, y'all. So anyway, I am going to hand cut my stripes. If you are cutting these on a Cricut like Design Space or Silhouette, you would do 11.5 by 0.008 for these opal stripes. And then we're going to use some pinstriping tape from PDB Creative Studio. And I would say if you have a white vinyl that you're going to use rather than the pinstriping, then cut those at 11.5 by 0.010. After I have my opal striping on, I'm going to use the striping tape again from PDB Creative Studio. It has 3 different sizes in this pack. I'm going to use the largest, which once again, if you are cutting that off of your Design Space or Silhouette, then cut it at 0.010 and the opal is 0.008. I absolutely loved that you can actually see through this just a little bit. It allows a little bit of those florals to show through the striping, so it's not super bold. And I did decide only to do 1 stripe of each on either side of our V-split because I really didn't want to do too much with my vinyl since we do have some busy patterns going on. And I definitely didn't want to take away from the beauty of our vinyl and our butterflies. I'm making some more business tumblers for my friend over at Alight Handwovens. So I used my print to cut feature to cut out her logo and a 0.035 offset of the same vinyl that we used for our pinstriping. If you are applying a decal to raw rub-on transfers, meaning you have not put epoxy over them, and if you are applying a decal that you created using the matte printable vinyl that I used, which is from Buttercrafts, you want to make sure that you remove near all of the stickiness from your transfer tape. Your transfer tape can grab a hold of your decal and it can also pull parts of your rub-on transfers up if you are not careful. So this piece of transfer tape, as you can see, was super foggy, and that's because I have stuck it to everything to remove the tackiness. I just sort of press down very lightly with my squeegee tool to get my decal to stick to what little bit is left on my transfer tape. Rub that on very gently just over my decal and not on my transfers. And then I'm going to use my heat gun to help release my transfer tape from my decal. It's not pulling up any of my decal or my transfers. I'm going to seal my matte printable vinyl in with Rust-Oleum matte clear coat. Once that has dried, I am ready to add on my 2 final coats of epoxy. I absolutely love how this tumbler turned out. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below. I'll answer them as quickly as possible. This vinyl is again from Slide Hustle. They do have an Etsy shop, and you do want to make sure you are part of their Facebook group because every Thursday is ladies' night and you want to take advantage of those awesome sales and discounts. All of those details and all other materials that I have used in this tutorial will be linked down below with some discount codes for y'all. We also have a Facebook group, Brittany Barnes Boutique Tumbler Art Epoxy group. We would love for you to join and be a part of our awesome community. I give out tons of tips and tricks and also notify you of all new products and sales. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell in the corner to be notified anytime a new tutorial drops. That is all for today. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.